Good afternoon, baby yum-yummers, and welcome to another very exciting chat this afternoon. Today I have with me the phenomenal, entertaining, and educating Andy Cohen. I am Amanda Rogaly, CEO of BabyYumYum. So Andy, firstly, welcome to the BabyYumYum offices.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
I called to interview you because I am absolutely enthralled by the information and the views and angles that I took from reading your latest book called Parenting Psychoanalysed. Andy, firstly, please tell us who you are and what gives you the authority to write a book like this.
Right, yeah. So I am a psychoanalyst and a mother of two, and I've done a lot of work on myself, and I work with patients every day in private practice. I work with mothers, fathers, old and young, getting to know the depth of people, and really working with them like on a very in-depth way. And in psychoanalysis, it's a very specific type of therapy. It's a very specialized.
Yes, what is it?
It's a very specialized form of therapy where we are not just interested in the kind of conscious stuff that we are concerned about. It's that we are also working with the unconscious part of the mind. So all the underlying stuff that's deep buried inside us from when we were babies and toddlers and young people in the world, that stuff kind of lives very deep in us.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and it informs how we adult. Strangely, but it sort of happens in invisible ways. So the kind of therapy that I specialize in is helping people get back in touch with the stuff they can't remember about themselves. If people feel stuck and they don't know why, stuck in patterns, stuck with their kids, stuck with just getting in their own way. That's the kind of work I do. So then I like to, I work with people and help them get back in touch with these old parts of themselves. So that's why I guess I wrote a book like this, because I really wanted to collate something about the parent's experience from the parent's point of view. So that's what I've created.
And that's for me what stood out about this book, because as parents, we're always looking for, trying to find solutions to problems. Your baby can't sleep, okay, do this and do this. Or your child's acting like this, okay, so let's do this and let's do that, and what's wrong with your child? But you actually have to take a step back and look at yourself as the parent and what happened in your life and what influenced your parenting decisions that now obviously allows you to parent your kids in a certain way. So it was just a really interesting look. It's not looking at finding a solution, it's actually delving into the problems and not just putting on a Band-Aid, but actually healing those problems before we go forward on what we're trying to teach our kids. So for me, I love the perspective of this book. So how do you take psychoanalyzing and put it into the parenting context of today? How have things changed? Was psychoanalysis something from years ago, or is it a very modern type of thought process?
Such an interesting question. I mean, listen, psychoanalysis is over 100 years old. So Sigmund Freud discovered the unconscious and developed psychoanalysis, I think 120 years ago initially.
Okay.
So it's a very kind of I guess a traditional form of therapy. It's got its roots sort of back in the past, but actually every form of therapy developed out of it and as a result of it, sometimes in response to it, sometimes in reaction, sometimes in opposition. But like the roots of Freud's thinking, it like sort of lives in the bones of our culture. When you say someone's narcissistic or, don't project, or, I'm being triggered, that's all Freud. That's all coming from psychoanalysis.
Okay.
And actually advertising, apparently they teach more Freud in advertising than they do in sort of undergrads at universities, because advertisers have to know how people think. And
of course, you have to influence decisions.
Yeah, how to appeal to like the unconscious. Actually, psychoanalytic thinking is everywhere, but it's often buried. I think what's really tricky in today's world, like with social media and things, we want quick fix, we want like instant gratification, and the world wants hacks. Parenting hack 101. We all want it. I'm guilty as well. And therapy has, I think, taken a bit of that. People come in, wanting tips 1, 2, 3, and I'm fixed. In psychoanalysis, I just feel like we've gone through something and you deserve time to work out why. And so, this kind of work, we offer kind of long-term thinking through of things, layers, getting to know that. So, I mean, it absolutely exists. It's a very, I guess, like a very loved form of therapy, but it's a long-term, it's not for everyone,
What are the most common types of unconscious parenting patterns that we as parents fall into when we are parenting kids? You spoke about projection. I'm sure that's kind of, one of the things.
Yeah.
So what else is there? What else do you pick up on?
Well, I'll tell you what came to my mind when you answered. I mean, I don't, there's probably a lot, right?
I'm sure. Long list.
We all project. That's what we do. We put ourselves into the person that we're with. That's just how we are as humans. That's something we developed when we were babies. You put your feelings into somebody else, and that's how you get to work out the problem and solve a problem, So, like on a basic level, like when you're a baby, like how when a baby cries?
Yes.
You know how it like mobilizes you from your gut?
Oh, absolutely.
That feeling?
Absolutely.
Okay. So that is the baby they're projecting their feeling of fear, anxiety,
whatever it is.
I'm dying, I'm whatever, into you, and it mobilizes you, it gets you up, and then you get the baby's bottle, or you come and feed the baby one way, So
you react.
So since we were infants, we've been projecting into people to get our needs met. That is a way of functioning. You can't get your needs met alone. So essentially what happens is we do that all the time in one way or another, and we often see ourselves in our children and then try to work something out about ourselves in our kids. That can be quite tricky, right? Because you're trying to work yourself out in another person who is also another person with their own mind.
Correct. You're almost using your kids as a tool for your own growth, which is great, and we do that as parents. But it's actually unlocking the whys, the hows, and the history that one has there as well.
Yeah.
How does understanding our own personal childhood change the way that we parent? And is it too late to understand how our views on parenting can change our children's lives now, essentially?
It's never too late.
Okay.
It's never too late. I think
that's so good to hear. Did you hear that, everyone? It's never too late. Yes.
Yeah. It's never too late. I think the best thing that we can do for our children is to be curious about ourselves. I think so much time is spent trying to do something, like I said before, like in the other person. And I think that the best thing we can do as parents is to be curious about the things that trouble us about our children, the things that niggle us, the things that we're trying to fix in them says probably more about us than it does about them. And the thing that I wanted to do in this book, which was really important, I feel, most of the baby books and the children's books and the parenting books that I came across in the market really sort of wags a finger at the parent and says, like, don't do that and do it this way and you're doing it wrong. And I think there's so much in us that we already feel bad about. I just think that shaming a parent is not a good, like, I just don't think anything's going to
Well, funny, that was actually going to be my next question. How can parents manage guilt and shame in their parenting?
Yeah, it's like built into the system in a way. And I think the parenting books that are out there, not all of them, but generally, I think even just by giving a how-to, which implies a right or wrong,
correct,
is actually undermining.
Yes, because you feel I haven't done it that way, so therefore I must be a really terrible parent.
Yeah, it's a huge issue. And so the way I structured the book, with every letter that's written, every chapter it's a letter from a psychoanalyst around the world who's written to the parent. So each letter begins, "Dear Parent," and then for 4 or 5 pages in very simple language, they talk to the parent reader about what they struggled with, and then how psychoanalysis helped them think about it in a deeper way and resolve the problem, hopefully, or not resolve the problem and deal with it.
And that's what I loved about the book, because it was based on these short letters, which are chapters essentially, and it wasn't like heavy reading, and it wasn't very like high, very, very technical type of language. It was just simple, that a mommy that you can understand, and you can learn how to better yourself by looking at these other people's experiences and what they've learned, and what in some cases took them so long to learn. And it would be amazing to have and to use this book full tools to understand how to start developing and evolving yourself as a better parent from an earlier stage, perhaps even before your child is conceived or even thought about.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there are quite a lot of letters in the book. You know, I'll just say this first. I didn't prescribe what anyone should write about. I just said, write about something you struggled with, and they're very varied.
I mean,
they're very varied.
Everyone's got their own stuff to deal with, right? Sure.
Very varied. The thing that came up a lot, though, was, am I good enough?
Of course.
Good enough, the idea of being good enough, that kind of shame, lurky stuff. And the other thing that came up a lot is that in order to have children, you have to create space in your mind for those children. So it's like, how do you create space inside yourself to accommodate all the feelings, all the ideas, all the conflicting needs that you have, that they have? So you kind of like, how do you create spaces in yourself? And how do you start to think about yourself in a non-judgmental way? And how do you get curious about the things that you struggle with as a parent? This is not a right or wrong. It's about, actually, I'm struggling with this thing. I get really angry every time my child needs me. What's that about? Okay, so maybe there's something I have around neediness or helplessness. Maybe I need to get it. Maybe it's a way, it's an opportunity to get back in touch with that part of myself that feels helpless in the world. And my child shines a mirror at that. So, you know, the letters pick up on those sorts of dilemmas that originate in the parent, but with empathy. It was, you know, it was really important to all of us and all the contributors in the book that we are not here to judge. The same way if you were a patient lying on my couch, I'm not here to judge you. I just want to understand your experience, you know. And I think there needs to be more parenting spaces like that.
So essentially, what parenting myth would you say you are challenging in this book? Is it the myth about how you just need to stop wagging the finger at yourself?
I guess that is probably one of them. I mean, I think the myth would be that there's something wrong with us. I feel like, I mean, I've said it a few times, that there's something about this right or wrong thing. I feel like we are all struggling, and we have baby and children selves living inside us that need to be heard. And I guess the myth is we're not just adults. I guess that's it.
So
you're
true.
not just walking around as in your adult self.
Correct.
That, you know, like I think of a parent like a babushka doll.
Absolutely, with layers and layers and layers and layers. Or like an onion that you just got to unravel.
Absolutely.
There's so much there in the core.
So inside you, that little baby part of you is not, you haven't sloughed it off, as it's embedded in you.
Correct.
Those baby ideas, those toddler parts of you. And so for me, I feel like it's a very helpful idea for parents to know that there are parts of you that are still alive and kicking and actually interfering with your relationship with your children. And if you can get back in touch with that, if you can feel, I guess, curious and unafraid of the parts of yourself that you've buried, you free up space for yourself, and you free up space between you and your child so that they can live their life and you can live your life, and you get to know yourself better. It's like a pretty good sandwich, you know?
I think that what you've just said is actually probably half the process. It's actually delving into that fear of our parenting and fear of what our parents did to us in the past that helps us unlock where we're going. And to actually tap into that, I think that's amazing, acknowledging that you are who you are because of certain circumstances before, your small little things, call them circumstances, call them incidences that have happened in your life before. So did writing this book and putting all the stories together change the way that you parent your kids?
So, yeah, it actually did. It actually did. So
I love hearing that. Then we know it's like it works. Don't read it.
Yeah, I was just thinking I was wondering, examples were coming to my mind as you were asking the question. So, you know, there are some really phenomenal analysts in this book. I mean, we've got some really world-renowned rock stars.
Phenomenal.
In this book.
I was going to say, how did you get them to contribute?
And it was a bit of a word-of-mouth process.
Brilliant.
You know, and also, you know, analysts who aren't well-known but are such deep, beautiful thinkers, you know. And it took me about 3 years from beginning to end and collating the letters and metabolizing the letters. I didn't realize, I kind of thought, honestly, this was going to be easy.
Get the letters, dump them together and publish.
Content, no problem. I'll do a bit of spelling. No, it was not like that. I mean, these letters arrived slowly, like over a 2-year period. Like I shepherded the letters in and sort of had to help some of the writers and help them metabolize things. And as these letters came in, their stuff would hit me, like sometimes in my gut. There was one letter where, there's a lot of international writers, so the Italians and, French and whatever. And obviously they're writing in English. And there was one letter that came through that like just didn't make sense to me. Like I went back and I had to with too much red on the page, trying to edit it. I couldn't make sense of the letter. I just couldn't make sense of it. What
the actual delivery was.
Yeah, I thought there was a problem with it, lost in translation or something. And I kept, and I went back to the contributor and he came back to me and he was like, I really don't want to rewrite the letter, what's wrong with it? And then I said, let's just take some time and think about it. And it took about 3 months of me thinking about the letter, just sort of percolating. And I did my own work, my own analytic work in the background as well, thought a lot about the letter. And 3 months later, we got back in touch and I read the letter again and it made perfect sense. The letter read beautifully. It was eloquent. There was maybe 3 spelling issues or syntax things, What had happened was that the letter had hit me in a place that I was struggling with in my own parenting. Wow. It was around guilt and stuff like that. I mean, obviously.
Of course, who doesn't have guilt?
Right. And I actually couldn't read it.
Wow. So it actually almost had retarded your ability to understand and comprehend what you were being told or exposed to.
Yeah, and there were so many examples of that where the letters would show up in my mind, they would almost come as little helpful, little ways to cajole me along.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was very
Which really just shows you where you are in your life is how you deal with things from a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So what is the one biggest takeaway that you want readers to take from this book when they buy it and when they read it?
I guess I want moms and dads out there to know about psychoanalysis. I want moms and dads to know that there is a space out there that is interested in them, that can help them think about themselves, either from a reading point of view, just not everybody wants to go into their own analysis or into their own psychotherapy. But I firstly, it really felt important to me to educate people about this form of therapy. Not all therapy is the same. And if you are curious about yourself and if you are interested in freeing up space for yourself in a way that can really be life-changing and have a ripple effect across your family, this is the kind of work that does it. So that's the one thing. And then also to just to not be so critical, to just find some kindness and some empathy about the things you struggle with, and and if you can, to find somebody who thinks in a way that will help you open that up and just metabolize a little bit about what that little red flag is, because obviously nobody wants to hurt their kids or damage their kids, and sometimes we do.
We have no intention to, but unfortunately we do.
And when you do, it's an opportunity to think, to get your own attention and then to lean into that and to know where to go, to ask about it, that someone's not going to try correct it. Or undermine it, but someone's going to be that's so interesting.
Let's unpack it.
Yeah, and how amazing that you're thinking about your kids, that you care that much to do that, to turn the mirror back on yourself,
Which is phenomenal.
That's what I was hoping to achieve.
So what's next for you now after this book? Because you've done amazing things. I mean, you're a fine artist. You have done a TEDx talk. You've done the most amazing things. So what comes next after you are published? What comes?
I don't know. I haven't got that far. I think I'm going to just carry on doing what I'm doing at the moment. I think the beauty of this kind of work is you really can be present. It's actually taken me quite a lot of time, in my life to not be 5 steps ahead and to just be exactly where I am.
That's very hard, to be present and mindful, right? It's something that I try to work on every single day. It's very hard.
So I'm in my private practice and I'm working in communities, and I'm writing and being creative and mothering, and I don't know the answers. I don't know, but I'm okay with it.
So 2 questions for you. The last 2 questions. Firstly, where's the book available?
Yes. So you can either get it from Exclusive Books. At the moment, you can get it at Exclusive Books, Bedfordview and Hyde Park.
Great.
And then also direct from the publisher, which is Routledge. So it's routledge.com. And if you just type in Parenting Psychoanalysed, it comes up. And that's great. It's got free shipping. It's very reliable.
Fantastic.
Courier shipping to South Africa. It might take a few weeks, but it will come. Yeah.
And how does someone get hold of you? How do our viewers who want to find out more about psychoanalysis, but also about you, how do they get in touch with you?
I think maybe the best thing would be just to visit my website.
Which is?
So it's andycohenpsych.com.
andycohenpsych.com. Are you on any of the socials? Facebook, Instagram?
I am on LinkedIn, and I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
At Psychoanalyst.
Okay.
I think _ afterwards.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I highly, highly recommend this book. Delve deeper into yourself, learn about yourself, give your space the freedom and the time to explore your past and help yourself move into the future. And for me, that's what this book was all about. Andy Cohen, thank you so much. And again, congratulations for moving yourself into the space, but also for exposing the rest of the parents out there into this amazing analysis of parenting. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.